Friday. Happy Friday, man. Welcome everybody into the room. A2HH Live. According to Hip Hop Live, we're going to be talking about this Tory Lanez offering. And ASAP Ferg dropped an album. He dropped Floor Seats 2. That's going to be considered an album, right?
Yeah, it's considered an album, I would think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I
I mean, I
know
think we were just talking. He doesn't do mixtapes, right?
he
Like we were
does
trying to
not
think of
do
some mixtapes he
mixtapes.
did. I mean, like he'll jump on somebody else's mixtape.
Right. Well, let me
Right.
ask you off top, man, while we're welcoming everybody into the room. With everything going on, man, what do you think about Tory Lanez dropping this album? The timing of it, just the fact that he dropped the album. Like, what's your opinion on the whole thing?
Um, on what level, Mike? Are we talking musically, artistically,
You know what? Let's talk
personally?
artistically. Let's talk artistically
Yeah.
because we're talking about artistic expression, and artistry is an expression of life. So artistically, how do you feel about his timing of putting out this effort? Because a lot of people have problem with it. I know Rick Ross just took to Instagram and has kind of been going back and forth with Tory about it. Bun B made a statement alluding to it as well. So what do you think about it artistically, since other artists are giving their opinion on it?
I mean, as far as timing,
Mm-hmm.
when is the appropriate time to speak on the matter? You know what I
Some
mean?
people
Like,
feel immediately, right?
right. I mean, like this happened almost 2 months ago now, or is it a month ago? A month ago?
Yeah, yeah,
4 weeks ago?
right,
So I think it's something that's still fresh in the consciousness, in Black pop culture for sure. Correct.
right.
And so, from an artistic standpoint, I don't know who handles him or who his handlers are, like musically, management wise, or those things. But from a musical and artistic standpoint, it's wiser to do those things amidst the controversy and when your name is bubbling, not after it's faded.
Is it
You
clout chasing though?
correct?
I think that's the thing. You know what I mean? Like
Ooh,
obviously,
ooh. When I mean, how about this? Because as soon as we get into this point of the conversation, my immediate thought was Pac clout chasing when he got out of jail and immediately went to the studio and started recording All Eyes on Me, or was that what people wanted?
well, that's what people wanted. Did people really want? I think people wanted Tory to say something. I think when you come out with music, it comes across as the wrong thing. Because I think what also threw people off too was the fact that he said he was breaking his silence at a certain date, right? I mean, at a certain time. So
Oh,
yesterday,
did he say that?
yeah, he
I
made a
wasn't aware.
tweet where he said he was breaking his silence at I think he said 9 p.m. Pacific time. And so I guess people
Oh, I
thought
saw
that he
that.
was gonna go on live and talk about it, and he released
Me
an
too.
album, you know.
No.
And
You want to know what?
yeah,
If that's what you're talking about, I did see that tweet. I thought he was going to like talk and have a forum and discussion too. So
right.
I'm with people. If what we're talking about is the shock level of it, of like, oh, he's dropping music instead of discussing it, I don't think that that's a very valid point or case to hold against him. And here's why. We ask our artists to express through music. And one of the biggest complaint about this era's musicians, singers, rap artists, or whoever is that there's no real content or anything of substance to talk about. You know, you're
Right.
like the complaint is that people don't talk about anything relevant or anything that matters. Well, this is something relevant and something that matters. It's just not relevant in a pop culture sense. It brings up dynamics of potential domestic violence, the tenuous nature of Black love relationships that I've mentioned before on this podcast. And so there's a lot to unpack in that situation. And at the end of the day, he's an artist, and so it's up to him when and how he wants to express it. My initial thought of the album, actually, Mike, was actually an R&B album, and I know you're probably familiar. Well, I know that you're familiar with it, but
Right.
most
Right.
people aren't familiar with it. The album felt very much like "Hear My Dear" by Marvin
Marvin
Gaye.
Gaye. Yeah, yeah. Well, before we
It
get
had
into
a
that,
very
let me go. Let me shout out
okay.
to everybody in the room, man. We got people still coming in, and let me ask y'all. What are y'all? What is y'all opinion on the fact that Tory dropped this album in the way he did? Do you think he should have or shouldn't? We got Gigi in here. She said ethically. How about that? Michael Jamal said that album could have waited. I think personally.
Okay. But why?
TJ Wave said he's a hoe. Gigi said it's trash. Luke Rahman said Tory can flow, but I'm side eyeing. Matt says the album's fire. Bobby Bell says the album's trash. Kev says the album's trash. Luke says it's business. People are everywhere on this. You know what I mean? What did you think about the album? I know you were about to go into, your description of it and what it felt like and sounded like to you. Go ahead.
Um, I mean, first of all, there's there's a whew, there's a lot of dishing going on, Mike. I mean,
Right.
for me as a man, it was strange hearing somebody talk so intimately about a woman and his dealings with the woman and inner workings, dealings of their relationship. That was the thing that really initially struck me, was just how poignant and personalized the bars and the singing and the songs were.
Right.
And why I brought up Hear My Dear is because it appears to be an album that was conceived and mostly thought about dealing with his relationship with her and what happened that night.
Right.
I mean, 90% of the material is focused on that, if I'm not mistaken. And it's very, very personal. I think people's opinions about it musically are everywhere, because I think the album is everywhere a little bit. Her in that situation being the focus of the content has obviously affected him in an enumerated sort of ways, and the emotions of that come out in the album in good ways and in bad ways. I think there are tracks where the emotion of the situation helped carry the track and make it better, and there are other times where it's like, okay, dude, you already said that 2 or 3 tracks ago, let it go.
It's a real lengthy effort too, especially we're talking about just what because we all know what this is about, right? It's a real lengthy effort for it to be really centered around one event from one night. Michael Jamal says it sounded like he shadowed Usher's Confessions album. I see what he means with that. As far as using a certain relationship to kind of market the project, basically, in a sense.
No, that's a good analysis.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that comparison. Yeah. That was solid. I can see some of that. There's some confessions on there. This is actually more personal than Confessions.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what I mean. It was almost personal to the point of me where it's like, we're like, fam, like, it's like, I feel you, and it's like, if you feel like you've been wronged, I mean, you truly are going to have your day like to prove that. And he talks about certain things he can't say because of current matters going on frequently as well. But there are some moments on the album where I'm like, okay, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to hear all that necessarily. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I don't know. It's, you have to be. Like I said, Mike, Black Love is tenuous, so it's like, I don't want him to come off in this situation as too vulnerable and leave himself to be emasculated after he's already been kind of like, I wouldn't say blackballed isn't the right word, but he hasn't been, he's been a little set to the side a little bit by the hip hop community.
Blackballed is a bad way to describe.
I don't know if it's
let's say,
right
let's just say this: not blackballed because it's public. Canceled. Canceled is the word you're probably looking for. He's been publicly canceled in a sense.
Yeah. I wouldn't even say cancel. How about this? He's been put on pause.
Yeah. And I think people want to hear the whole story, and everybody's kind of been, saying that's what they want. But I think that they want to hear it verbally, and it's interesting that you say that we look for certain things in our artists and our music and people being honest. But in this time, I guess because people, like you said, aren't that familiar with his music like that, people wanted to hear it verbally from him as opposed to through the music. Now, let me ask you this, too. I mean, obviously, the elephant in the room is the Breonna Taylor verdict. Well, not really verdict, decision. And so do you think that maybe he could have had some sort of consideration in that timing? Because obviously this is a personal effort for him. But the timing of that, I think, really throws a lot of people off, too.
I mean, I actually, I'm glad that you brought up Breonna Taylor. Okay, like, so if there's anything inappropriate about his timing, of dropping this effort, it's only because the issue of a black woman here in America being degraded upon, abused, and just I could go on, Mike.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that has come more to the forefront, and rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, he should have waited possibly about that, but that's the only thing that I would say. I mean, he probably wasn't following Breonna Taylor's, you know, litigation and criminal and civil process while he's recording as much to know when verdicts and decisions are going to be handed down. So I'm not going to totally fault him for not being informed on that, because his role is that of an artist and not of a politician or an attorney or somebody in politics. You know, can we talk about Breonna just briefly though, Mike? Like, I don't think people understand. Okay, good. Like, the difference between, and I've actually said this on the show before, like, the difference between manslaughter and murder, Mike, is intent. And so when you kill somebody, even if it's not intentional, the least that you usually get is manslaughter. Like, if it's not murder, it's manslaughter. It's not murder and then nothing at all.
Yeah.
And so let's say that everything that they're saying is true, and this one corroborated witness is going to outweigh the validity of a dozen witnesses who say the opposite thing. And let's say that her boyfriend was trafficking narcotics, and let's say
which he wasn't.
He did. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. No, Mike. Let's play worst case scenario. And let's say he did shoot at them. And let's say all these things happen. That doesn't change the fact that she was asleep. You all took her life. That is manslaughter at its worst case level.
Well, you know, and also on top of that, you know, if we're going to talk about that, once that was already recognized, they weren't calling 911. That was Kenneth Walker. Her boyfriend was calling 911. They were out there searching her house for something that, you know, to justify whatever, you know, well, this murder. And they found nothing. They weren't trying to help her, revive her, anything. So, you know, I agree 100%. We all know that the decision was bogus. I think we all, you know that what the implications behind it were and the reasons why it came out the way it did. I do think that Tory Lanez, man, I don't know, man. Maybe he wasn't thinking on that level, but yeah, I think it's in poor taste with everybody thinking about that socially to drop an album at this point. And I agree with you on an artistic level. I think that you have to understand what's going on socially and, you know, center things around that, especially, you know, it should concern you as an individual and your audience. So yeah, to answer that, yeah, I think that releasing the album at this point was not a good move. More so on the Breonna Taylor end, not as much on the Megan end, but I get that too.
You know, Mike, I'm going to keep on saying it over and over again. Like, black love is tenuous. And one of the issues of the tenuous nature of black love is us not being educated on how to deal with and love each other in tenuous situations. The whole circumstances behind this were tenuous. And so as an artist and as a man, I feel his need to respond. And he has license to respond as an artist and as a man, because he is getting drugged through the mud, you know. But, you know, a woman told me a long time ago, like, timing is everything with a woman. And so him releasing this album may come off of like he's not being mindful of his black women.
Yeah. I agree. Now, I mean, outside of that, and we'll get to, you know, the people that are commenting in the chat as well. What did you think of the album, quality-wise? And what did you guys in the chat think of the album? Or did you even give it a chance?
You know me, Mike, I give everybody a chance, fair shot. The album's very hit or miss with me. I'm not his biggest fan. I feel like he does some dope stuff. And that's kind of how I felt about this album. He definitely should have made it shorter, I felt like.
Yeah.
I don't know who I mean, Mike, everybody's just making 8 to 13 song albums now, and if it is 15 to 17 songs, it's not going over an hour. I mean, it's just hard to put out a quality product now that's over an hour and get people to listen to it.
Right, right. I mean, just
You
the
know,
attention span. I mean, we talked about that in one of the last shows.
well, it's
Yeah.
just the fact that, like, Mike, some of these songs are like, a lot of the songs are 4 and 5 minutes long, and it's like, it's hard for us to listen to some of our favorite artists for that long on songs now, and so it's like, if there's any clout chasing, I think he may have overstated like his place as an artist in terms of like the length of this player and how in depth he's going. It's like he might be wrapped up in the fame a little bit too much on that level. Like people don't want to hear that much, fam, and like what else do you have? But there are some songs on there, and it is revealing in a manner that it's literally the antithesis of everything that we've been hearing about what happened that night, and it opens up their relationship. And so it's like, I don't know how critical it is musically, but just in terms of like the artistic merit and just what it's doing pop culture wise, like, I mean, it's very polarizing right now, Mike. I mean, think about the different things we've discussed like in the last 10, 15 minutes about the album. Like we've been everywhere. The album's everywhere. He's everywhere on the album. The situation's everywhere now because he dropped the album when he dropped it. And it's literally the antithesis to everything that we've been told for the past 4 or 5 weeks.
Right.
It's a lot.
I mean, in the first song,
Mike, that's what it is. Like Mike, there are messy levels. Like OJ for black people is like the peak of the messy level. Like this is like a couple steps below OJ though, Mike. It's real messy.
It is, man. It's such a,
it's messy.
I don't want to say an unbelievable story. Obviously, domestic violence and violence against women happens all the time in, relationships. But I don't think we've seen another famous artist, hooking up with another famous artist and shoot them in the foot. Now, the closest thing I guess would be, the Chris Brown and Rihanna thing.
Said it, I'm sorry. like, hold on. And my thing was, and this is just me, and maybe I'm just digging too deep into it. I'm like, okay, so you didn't shoot her in the foot, so you telling us she shot herself in the foot?
Well, see, one of the people in the chat, Andrew, shout out to Andrew, he said he didn't do it. Why is that automatically dismissed? Why hasn't he been charged? I think those are decent points. And he put it all out there.
Hold on. All I'm asking is that you're saying that you didn't did it. I'm sorry that you didn't do it. So you're saying she shot herself in the foot, so she's clout chasing then. Is that what you're saying?
He's saying that she's being dishonest. Well, this is what he said in what was the first song? It was Money Over Fallout.
Money Over Fallout.
Yeah, he basically, long verse, he was spitting, but he basically said that, it didn't happen like that. Your people are pushing you to say that it happened in a certain way. I would never do nothing like this to you. You're basically smearing my name for bread. Basically what he
Mike,
said. To condense it.
Okay, so here's the thing, Mike, and here's the problem with that. How many men, not just black men, how many men and women, how many men have beaten and raped and abused women and said those same things to get themselves out of trouble? Like that's what I mean about it being so polarized. And it's like, I know you saying you did it.
Yeah.
But like,
we don't know. We don't know. We know that somebody shot her in the foot, but it's like she's saying this, he's saying that. He's even gone so far to like he even brought Jigga's name up in the verse.
I'm about to say because here's how polarizing it is, Mike. He's bringing up other black men not supporting him, but one of the issues in hip hop is black women not getting enough support.
Yeah.
So he's kind of like poking at something that has traditionally been problematic for us in this culture, and like guys like Bun B are jumping up and being like, whoa. So when he's bringing up Big Pimpin', it's like, no, I feel you. Bun did make Big Pimpin'. He did make Let Me See It. That was also like 20 and 25 years ago when he made that too. People change, Mike.
Andrew also says she didn't want to tell on him initially. and he hasn't been wanting to speak on it. Both of those are indicator that there's more to it. Um,
There's attorneys involved. Anytime there's attorneys involved, like attorneys
People
tell
can't
you,
talk.
you'll talk with your attorney once a week, Mike, and they'll tell you everything that you can't say.
But the interesting thing is the fact that I think what people are having trouble with is the fact that she didn't speak to the police that night, but she went on Instagram and told everything. Instagram Live, and we know how huge of a platform she has. And I doubt that that was sanctioned by the attorneys. Now she could have just went against her attorneys and just said, "Fuck it," people are saying I did this and that. Let me tell y'all what really happened. So
I'm
I don't know.
So that's what I mean. So it's like when they're saying it's so polarizing, it's so problematic. Is she clout chasing? Is he clout chasing? Did he shoot her in the foot now? Did she shoot herself in the foot?
It's the court of public opinion, though. That's where we're at with that.
Hold on. What escalated this situation to the point that somebody pulled out a firearm and she got shot?
I mean, we don't know. And you got both sides saying no one's in jail and no one's been charged. And we got, they were arrested, right? Yeah, that's what happened. He was arrested.
He was arrested.
Yeah. But, no one's been charged of anything. So it's like at this point, I guess we really, really can't speak on it. It's just hearsay until someone really finds out. Now, we do know that the bullets that were in her foot or fractured her foot matched the bullets in his gun. We do know that. I mean, so. But.
How about this, Mike? I've known women that have been raped. Known women that have been abused. And so I'm not going to discredit him and say that I'm siding with her per se, but I am going to say that he needs to prove that he didn't do this since he's talking the way that he's talking on this album, and he needs to prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Now, and I think that's what people were looking for, when he sounded like he was actually going to go live, because you can kind of check body language. You can, see what a person's saying, match it up with what that other person's saying. And in the music, you really can't tell any of that stuff. So,
no, Mike, that's why I don't like the phone. I don't like to talk to people on the phone because I can't gauge you and tell me if you playing me, lying to me, like all that. I hate the phone. Right. Like I feel people. Yeah, like I want to look you in the eye. I want to see like if you're sincere. I want to see your body movements. 85% of communication is nonverbal. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see what happens with this, man. This is an ongoing thing, obviously. But yeah, people aren't really happy with the placement of the timing of this album, I should say. And I'm sure that there's going to be responses, from Megan's end to clear her name from some of the things that he said on just the intro alone. But
hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Mike, can I say something?
Yeah.
We're also a fickle culture. I want to point out to people that R. Kelly committed far more egregious acts than the ones that Tory allegedly committed. And when he dropped Chocolate Factory, we all forgot that it happened because, quite frankly, it was the best thing that he had made since 12 Play. A great album probably would have quieted all of this criticism, quite frankly. Like, I'm just going to be objective and say it. Like, I remember when R. Kelly dropped Chocolate Factory. Like, the tape was literally out the year before, Mike. Like, he was all in the mud. And then he dropped Chocolate Factory and Step in the Name of Love. And it's like that shit evaporated for like 3 or 4 years, it seems like. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right. I mean, people are emotionally drawn to music, and those artists that consistently give them great music. I don't think that people are connected on a massive level to Tory Lanez music in that way for him to drop music that would make them forget about this. But if this were fair. Chris Brown or something, yes, that's possible, But yeah, I agree with you though.
I mean, that's what I mean. Like after the Rihanna thing, Chris Brown dropped Deuces, and that album did pretty well, and it was kind of like it, I'm just pointing out I'm pointing out all aspects of it, including the musical side of it, that says like quality material kills a lot of criticism, speculation, judgment, all those things.
I don't think that, well, the Rihanna thing obviously altered Chris's career, but he was no longer the smiling young man anymore. He became the bad boy overnight. And he
Yeah,
switched
no
his
more
image
popping
up.
and excuse me, miss. No,
Yeah,
popping and excuse
it
me,
was
miss.
tattoos everywhere, different color hair. He embraced the bad boy after that, and that's
Yeah,
how that altered his career. I mean, other than Tory, I heard Elzai dropped, man. I need to go ahead and check out Elzai's album. He dropped today. Somebody in the chat said something about that. Shout out to Andre for letting us know that. We appreciate that. But ASAP Ferg also dropped, and Ferg seems to drop every year. He always comes with bangers. I know we were just talking offline, like when we were just going through his catalog and what he's done over the past 7 years. Every year he's coming with more so
feels
like
like
singles. But as far as like projects, we're not really looking to Ferg for like complete epic projects. And I think that this one, Floor Seats 2, I don't know, man. I mean, the production was there. It was, to me, I think it was a bit of a drop off.
was the
Um,
production there?
so at some points it was on and off. It wasn't.
Right.
You know what? After I listened to it, and I was telling you in the pre-show, I was listening to Floor Seats 1, and I'm sitting here thinking like, am I tripping? And Floor Seats 1 is much better than Floor Seats 2.
It is.
And but I don't know,
I
man.
agree.
I think that the way that ASAP Ferg makes music or what he makes it for, we just didn't have this year. There ain't no clubs this year. You know what I'm saying? Like the nightlife is not happening this year. And you got to go out here and try to make music that's gonna heat the nightlife without even really being in a live nightlife. So I don't know. I wasn't too impressed by the effort. I'm gonna give it out of 5, man. I'm going 3. I'm gonna be honest.
I was thinking 3 too.
Yeah.
We've been coinciding a lot, like with our review thoughts lately, which is the first time I think that's ever happened. But something that I just realized, the first time that I heard it, first of all, I didn't like it. I went back and listened to it because I remember the first time. I'm a big Schoolboy Q fan.
Right.
I remember the first time I listened to Crash Talk, Mike. I didn't enjoy Crash Talk the first time I listened to it.
Really?
And I was like, yeah, the first time I listened to Crash Talk, I didn't like it. And I think it's because I love Blank Face. I love Blank Face.
Blank Face is dope. Hold
Blank
on.
Face.
Let's get to that in 1 second. I see a long message from Angelique here. I want to get to it because I know we didn't get to a lot of women's comments. Angelique said,
Yeah,
"I'm a woman first, and I ain't trying to say Megan did wrong, but she is young, and with the fame on top, and on top of that, mixed with alcohol and white Kardashian females in the mix, I wouldn't be surprised if Tory did get at least a hard twist and pinch that night. Any other nights, if he got a wandering eye or got way too friendly." Saying that, Megan might have gotten jealous of the Kardashian in the car, or the Jenner in the car.
So here's where I mean about black love is tenuous, and we have to start unpacking things when celebrity and fame and beautiful women and alcohol become involved, because the black woman is the most degraded human being in the history of mankind. Her insecurities may show in that moment. You get what I'm saying, Mike?
Mm-hmm. No,
Like
you're right.
so even if that, I mean, I hear what Angelique is saying, and thank you so much for commenting. But the insecurities come out in those times, and that's when the tenuous nature of our love shows itself. And that's what I mean about that's where we have to start problem solving in those moments, instead of being like you better not look at that bitch, nigga. You feel me?
Yeah. It happens, right?
Or you got one more time to smile at her when she come by. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, those are the moments that we need to start really getting to the solutions of, so that motherfuckers ain't getting shot in the foot like it's Harlem Nights or some shit. Like,
right. Movie shit. Michael Jamal says,
like, it's the movie shit. When I heard she got shot in the foot, I was like, I was
Huh?
like, yo, she didn't really get shot in the foot. I'm like, hold on, who gets shot in the foot? I'm like,
No,
okay.
that
I
came
mean, I
out
get
first, and then it came out that Tory Lanez shot her in the foot. I'm like, this can't be true.
well, no. I think it came out that she got shot in the foot. Then it came out that like he was in the car, was around, and then it was like Tory Lanez is in jail. And I'm like, hold on. I'm like, that happened real fast.
Angelique says, more than insecurities, these females be doing shit, especially the white girls. Okay.
Hold on. So part of the insecurity with black women is, especially with black men of celebrity, correct me if I'm wrong, is the tendency to gravitate towards white and foreign women upon the comeuppance.
It's true.
Frankly.
It's all in the music.
I mean, don't we have a history of that? As we as black men, do we not have a history of going grabbing us a white girl or a foreign chick after we come up?
It's a thing, you know. Like I said, it's all in the music. I think that well, can we credit Future with putting foreign in hip hop, putting the term foreign in hip hop and praising foreign women? I'm trying to think. And he really made a point.
I'm really saying white women, Mike, but it's the foreign women have become more a part. I think
the exotic thing,
the exotica thing. Yeah, it's almost like for a sister who is everything but a when they get some money,
right?
And so it's like they prefer that she be, Armenian. You know what I'm saying? Puerto Rican, Venezuelan, Swedish.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Back to Ferg. Michael Jamal said Ferg has a cult following. It said Ferg has a cult following, and you were just talking about Blank Face, right?
So I compared it to Crash Talk.
Crash Talk.
It's
Crash
like,
Talk.
Well, we bought this up because Ferg's from Harlem. He's from Uptown. This doesn't. Ferg don't really do like Uptown shit, but he kind of does because guys from Uptown are the party starters, Mike. Like back.
That's
all
true.
The way back. All the way back to It Takes Two, Mike. Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rocks. They're from Harlem.
Dougie Fresh.
Dougie Fresh.
Dougie Fresh from the Bronx.
I mean, look. Hold on, right? Yep.
I might be right.
Maybe.
But you're right. Mace.
I mean, you can even go to Dipset. You can even go to Dipset. When Dipset was around, they were the party guys in New York and in hip hop. So this is so Ferg is following tradition for one. So this is tradition, And also I realized this is the album that I realized you want to know what it is. Ferg is a home run hitter. Like every song that he's making for the strip clubs and for the club, Mike. And that's what I mean. That's why I get what you say when you say it's hard to rate his albums.
Yeah.
It's because Ferg's thinking of it differently. Ferg is literally walking in here and trying to make a banger every time. And he's been doing a good job at it. And really the fact of the matter is that there's 10 tracks on here and it's mixed results. There's one intermission, so it's 9 songs. There's about 4 bangers. And there's about 4, and there's one track in the middle. And that's why the album's kind of a 3. But like Marilyn Manson, Dennis Rodman, and Value to me are the only tracks on here where I'm like, dope.
I like Dennis Rodman, and when I turned it on, because Marilyn Manson's the first song, and I heard the guitar solo and all that, I'm like, okay, this is gonna be interesting. You know what I mean? It was an honorable C note track, I believe, and I was like, okay, this is dope. You know what I'm saying? And Dougie Fresh is from Harlem. I mean, Rob Bass, Mace, Dougie Fresh switched it up. So yeah, you're right. Harlem, they are the party starters, and that's what Ferg does. Like Ferg comes with bangers, and
Ferg is a vibe. Ferg's not trying to make great albums. Ferg may never make a great album in his career, but he'll be relevant because he'll hit home runs. Like I can see these tracks getting played. I like No Ceilings. My only problem with No Ceilings is I feel like that was a beat that was on Pop's album.
And you know what? As weird as Wayne sounded on there, I think Wayne killed it. And the other thing is too, I think that Nicki killed her feature too. He got a good feature from Wayne and Nicki.
He got a good feature from them. But I think that Nicki killed her feature. He got a good feature from Wayne and Nicki. He got a good feature from Wayne and Nicki. He got a good feature from Wayne and Nicki. He got a good feature from Wayne and Nicki. He got a good feature from them. But I think that Nicki killed her feature. He got a good feature from Wayne and Nicki. He got a good feature from Wayne and Nicki. He got a good feature from Wayne and Nicki. He got a good feature from Wayne and Nicki. He got a good feature from Wayne and Nicki. He got a good feature from Wayne and Nicki. He got a good feature from Wayne and Nicki. He got a good feature from Wayne and Nicki. He got a good feature from Wayne and Nicki. He got a good feature from Wayne and Nicki. He got a good feature from Wayne and Nicki. He got a good feature from Wayne and Nicki. but they don't sound in their prime anymore either. And I
Oh
think
yeah,
that's why you're
yeah.
so impressed. Hold on, you're so impressed by that because it's been a long time, I think, since either one of them came on and had a really strong feature where you were like, oh,
You're
okay,
right.
yeah,
You're right. You're
right.
right. Well, I mean,
So I don't want to be prisoner of the moment of it because when I looked at when I listened to it for the second time, I really said to myself, the only person on this album that he couldn't have switched out was Tiger on Dennis Rodman or
I
Tupac.
agree.
Yeah.
Tiger made that song, and it's funny because whatever songs that Tiger's on, he pretty much makes. It's weird.
He does.
Now,
He's weird like that. He's weird like that.
speaking of Tiger, somebody mentioned French Montana in the comments, and I know that we were going to talk
No,
about what ASAP Ferg's lane or just overall rank. I don't want to say ranking in today's hip hop echelon or his generation where he's placed. And I think being placed around the Tigers and French Montanas might be a little bit perfect.
okay.
They approach music in a similar way.
They do. He's more fun than they are though. He's not as fun as Tiger is. Like Tiger's a whole nother vibe, but
He's more
Ferg is
hardcore
a
than
vibe.
Tigers.
Like Ferg is a vibe.
I
He really
I'm
is.
gonna be honest with you, man. I think if we went on a versus level style, I think I would like more French Montana songs than Ferg. I don't know, man. I don't know. I got to think about that.
I
You
don't
saying
agree.
no?
I don't agree.
What do
I
y'all
do
say,
not
man?
agree at
French
all.
Montana's catalog of Ferg. Gary
Ferg.
says Ferg is in the same lane as French Montana nowadays, and I'm not mad at it at all. Definitely a home run hitter, like you said.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
home run hitter.
Yeah.
See, but here's my thing though. Okay, so French Montana has contributed to a lot of home runs.
Mm-hmm.
Ferg makes home runs. So
Ferg
that's
has
why
a
I
lot of
would take
features
Ferg.
too, though. I mean, his
I mean, he
projects
has a
are
lot.
always
How
full
about
of
this?
features.
I mean, you want to know what? You know, the song that really made me a fan of Ferg was New Level. And Future's on there, and Future's great on there, but Future doesn't make that song. Like, that's what I'm
I agree.
saying. Like Ferg's bangers, even Ferg's bangers where he has features, it's like, no, Ferg still does his thing and helps make the song. I don't know. I've heard French Montana on a lot of songs like Shot Caller and Pop That, where I'm like, well, damn, that song's great to me because of the beat and Ross's verse.
Right.
Or everybody snapped on that track, not just French. You
I
feel
can
what I'm
see what
saying?
you're saying. I think, bar for bar, I would say Ferg might be the better rapper. I don't think it's by a lot. Michael Jamal said Ferg with the bars, Montana with the hits. Yeah, but I mean, I don't even think Ferg is that nice either. And maybe he can be. I don't think he
He's a vibe.
showcases that,
It's a vibe with Ferg. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's not trying to be that guy.
Rocky's
He
a
doesn't
nice
want
one.
to be that guy. Like, he wants to be Mitch and Alpo riding through like with the bikes and the Saabs on the BBSs.
Right,
like,
right.
And yeah.
You remember that? What was it? The Mattress remix where ASAP came
Right.
in there was like did backflips on the mattress, hit mad chicks on the mattress, in the mattress where the magic happens. Two ratchet fat chicks on the mattress. I mean, it was dope rhyme schemes. Like, I think Rocky's the rapper in the group, and even when Ferg tries to keep up with Rocky when they go back and forth, you could tell that there's a real separation there.
Yeah, Rocky. I mean, Rocky's the MC.
Yeah.
How about this? Ferg in a lot of ways is like a Freaky Ty on steroids.
Okay. I can see he is the spirit of the ASAP mob.
Right.
I will
He's
say
the
that.
spirit.
He's
He's
the
the
energy.
embodiment of it. He is the party. It's like how about this? It's like they came to see Rocky, but when you get there, Ferg's the reason that you stayed too, because it's like, oh well, damn, we're gonna get to hear Ferg turn up too. It's like, okay, well then, yeah.
Yeah, he's the fun guy in the crew.
He's the fun guy in the crew. And you want to know it? And I mean, and this is coming from me and Mike, and it's like I say it a lot. It's like I don't like that happy shit so much, but I do like Ferg, and I like guys like 2 Chainz. I was thinking of 2 Chainz as somebody in the same lane too, because those guys are fun.
Is he the Jim Jones of the ASAP mob?
Yeah, easy. Yeah.
You know what? It's
exactly.
interesting, man. And were we talking about this, or it might have been me and you or me and Ron Vay? Would it be fair to say that Jim Jones has the biggest song in Dipset's catalog? Whoever would have thought? Jim Jones.
Mike, You know, when Jim Jones made Ballin', I mean, my crew was still together. You know, the collective that I dealt with in the studio and stuff, and we were still doing our thing. And when he made that record, we were all sitting around like, and this is why everybody works and makes records, because you just never
Never
know,
know.
Mike. Like,
No one
I
saw that
remember
coming.
when this song came out, and everybody was like, oh my God, that's the biggest smash they ever made. But Cam's the MC. And when they made that song, Cam had probably been a decade in the game when that record got made. You
Definitely.
know,
Yeah.
you had only been hearing Jones rap for like maybe a year or two.
I mean, Jones, he was on the Dipset stuff, but he had like Certified Gangster. He had Summer in Miami. And that's the
That was
magic
like a
of,
year or two. But
yeah.
that's what I'm saying, Mike. That's a year or two
That
before
wasn't
he'd
even
only
his
been
first
rapping.
swing. I want to say that might have been like his third album or something. And that's the cool
Really?
thing about it. It was at least second or third, cuz he kept swinging for it. And it wasn't like,
I thought maybe I think it might have been the second.
let me
I'm not
see.
sure, but all I know is that, like, you know, it was funny, Mike. I mean, because
Yeah.
it's like Cam was the guy, and Cam was still the guy even after that song got made. But it was one of those things. It was like, but that's the, you know, that was the first anthem New York had had in a minute. I felt like too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, it was the third album. It was Product of
Wow.
My Environment. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man. And that's the
You
cool
never
thing
know,
about it, man.
Mike.
You just never know. You got to keep swinging. And Jim Jones
Rapid
did
sickle,
that.
Mike.
And I got to give it to 2 Chainz for that too, man. Like 2 Chainz is another one that just kept
Woo.
hitting at it and kept hitting at it and became a star. Whoever would have thought 2 Chainz from
I did,
Disturbing
Mike.
the Peace
I've
Crew? You knew?
always liked him. I can remember what's that DTP song on Chicken and Beer, Mike?
Got them guns. That one.
Got them hammers. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mike. I can remember. I loved him before even that, but he snapped on that, Mike. He had the best joint on that. That was, when was that, Mike? That was,
Oh man, that was like 04 or something. Chingy had
yeah,
one
that
of those.
was me. Yeah.
Chingy had one of
Chingy was
those
on there,
Mace
Mike.
niggas done started something verses.
Yeah.
It was a
Right.
surprising verse, like, yo, Chingy's
It was
on
like,
here.
whoa, oh, you on this record? Everybody was like, oh, you jumped on this record? Be like, this the Grammy part of DTP, right?
Yeah, man. And the other person, man, to me, that was a surprise. I'm a huge 3-6 Mafia fan. You know what I mean? Growing up, and just the underground tapes, all that. I never, ever, ever thought that Juicy J would ended up being the biggest person out of that group as an individual. That came out of nowhere for me. I never
Really?
saw that. I never saw that coming. I mean, I always
did.
liked Juicy J, but
No, I always thought that. I always thought he was the star, Mike. He was always
Paul
the
was
star to
the
me.
star. Paul was the star. And
Nah,
and
I always
Gangsta
thought
Boo was the
Juicy J was the star.
standout because she
Like
was
the
the
whole,
woman.
because you knew when Juicy J was coming, the
Yeah. Well, you know
like,
what?
I love that.
You know what
Yeah.
really made him was that "Slob on My Knob" song, like that. You know, he
That's what
he
I
made a
mean.
classic
Like,
without even
actually,
trying.
you know, no, Mike. I'm sorry, I'm wrong. Like, Project Pat was really the guy.
Of course,
Pat was the guy.
He wasn't in
But
the
that's
group though, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it was because Pat was getting locked up or he just started to fade and get off into other things. But whenever Pat faded a little bit, like from making music regularly, it was Juicy J, Mike.
Yeah, Pat made the only built for Cuban links in Hypnotized Minds catalog. Man, he did.
You want to know what? The first time I heard that record, I was down on the south side. I was down in Ellenwood. My brothers were playing that shit for me, Mike. And I was like, what the fuck is this? I was like, whoa. He came out of nowhere with it.
R.I.P. Lord Infamous, yes, and Coops the nigga too. Lord Infamous was by far the best lyricist in the group. And then he
Not
changed
even
up his
a-
style. But yeah, Pat was the guy, man. But I never thought that Juicy J, even after 3-6 went through all of their changes, they had 6 members, then 5, then 4, then 3, then it was Paul and Juicy J, and then Juicy J went solo and was like a bigger star on a mainstream level than the group had ever been. I didn't see that coming.
I was thinking about the Temptations when you started going through all the group changes. It was like it got to the point where it was like, can you sing? Are you going to be on time for the show? Let's go.
Yeah, they just had people with them. Like they had Frasier Boy with him at the Oscars, and people thought he was in
Right.
36. You know what I'm saying?
Frasier Boy. Wow, Mike, I haven't heard anybody bring up Frasier Boy in ages.
I'm a real fan, yeah. But
I see Mike Frasier Boy. Whoa. You are a real fan, Mike. That's hardcore.
But yeah, ASAP Ferg. I don't know if they patched it up with the ASAP Mob because I think it was a thing about him leaving ASAP Mob. But I do think that
Really?
I think he does
Is that
have
still the whole
his.
thing?
Hmm.
Is that still the whole thing? Like,
Yeah, that was a couple months ago. They'll probably patch it up, but no one has
yeah.
spoken like publicly about it, and he don't have
Yeah, it's
any of
still
them on his
early. It's fresh.
projects.
It's
So
fresh. It's fresh, and that's still fam.
right, but the album, it's just okay. But I think again, like you said, he's a home run hitter, and I think that for the music that he makes, this hasn't been a great year for that. But I think 2020 has been a great year for people making complete projects and projects that are conceptual and that flow together.
And and if anything, Mike, I guess I was kind of disappointed too because he is one of the guys from this newer era who I like and enjoy listening to, and I kind of wanted to hear some growth,
Right.
possibly, or hear something more, or hear something better, and I got more of the same and not as good of it. And I also want to say that he should also look into maybe cutting back on the features because I think the best track on here is Value, and it's the only track where he's by himself.
Well, I mean, that was the same thing with Still Striving. To me, I mean, I liked a lot of the
Yeah.
records on there, but he had
Yeah.
features on everything, and the one song he was by himself on was Plain Jane. And it's like, dude. It's like, yeah. But all right, before we get out of here, I know we talked about this too. Go ahead.
Yeah, he might just need to trust in himself a little bit more, is what I'm saying. It's like I know he's got the pull to get Wayne and Tyga, Marilyn Manson, Nicki, Puff, like all those. Puff is being called Puff Daddy again, by the way. I noticed that. It's Puff Daddy again, Mike. It's 94 again. Maybe he'll put on like all white and go back into Central Park and do the dance and shit.
Hey man, him and Loon are cool now, man. Maybe we might get I Need a Girl Part 10 or something. You never know.
No. We don't need that happy shit. No.
But yeah, man. Speaking of which, when did New York get? I don't want to. Well, let's just say less lyrical. New York City. When did New York City get a little less lyrical? Is that and more focused on hard hitting production? Is ASAP Mob or is this ASAP Rocky like the first time we saw New York MCs really Southern influence like that? Did they open that door, or is that more 50 Cent?
Yep, I'm about to say, Mike, that is Get Rich or Die Trying.
That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
And even though 50 spitting on there, but it's not what.
50 is the first artist to come from New York City, to come from one of the major boroughs, that was considered to be the best MC from there that wasn't of the same lyrical capacity
right
of the guys who preceded him.
But his song-making skills were at what the South was doing's level at that point.
Correct. And he had, how about this? And that's what I told people. It was that rare moment where he had Southern influence, West Coast production, East Coast behind him. It was a rare moment.
East Coast buzz, Eminem.
Yeah. And so he had a lot of people behind him. But I'll tell you something that Nas said when Nas was dealing with the thing with Jay and with him. And he said it. He was like, I don't take the thing with 50 as seriously as I do with Jay, because I take Jay more seriously, like as an MC, as a lyricist, as in like Jay is more of a problem. So it's like I may take shots at 50, but I'm not really that concerned about it. Oh, Jay has my attention.
But kind of like what Jadakiss said, right? When he was saying that Rakim and them don't even acknowledge you, or something he said on Checkmate.
Yeah. That's what I mean when I say that. It's like the guys that came before him don't look at him in that manner. And so for him to pull off that feat kind of opened up a different floodgate in a sense. But that's always been the thing with him, is that, and the album is great. It's one of the best rap albums ever. And anybody who knows me around that time, there's not an album that I played more frequently than that. But he just wasn't that same caliber of lyricist, and it kind of opened up the lane.
He changed the approach of what New York artists were doing as far as like what a dope song was and what you could do as a New York MC. Now, I I like his diss record approach. It was more of a Tupac approach where he was talking shit mostly, right? So it was like I Run New York was crazy to me. But the
Yeah,
one
yeah,
that
yeah.
I
That was
didn't
crazy.
like, I thought Piggy Bank was weak, man. I really did, man. I didn't like Piggy Bank at all.
I felt like he didn't try.
I felt like he didn't try either.
Yeah,
I'll
I felt
obviously
like I
back
felt like he
down.
thought I felt like he thought that he had it in the bag at that point, and he could just do with whatever to whoever, however. And it was one of those things where it was like guys was like, "Well, dog, like you not nice like that to be talking about like Kiss, talking about Nas, like hold on, like that's a different weight class. Like for people in hip hop
Yeah.
circles, he's not in that weight class with Kiss or with Nas or with Jay. He's not in that weight class for people who
No.
are like, yeah."
And I think he's had an amazing career, man. 50s, I would say that. Would you say the 50s one of the greats
Of what?
in hip hop history? In hip hop history,
As an MC?
where would you put 50 Cent as an artist? And if we
As a-
talking like top whatever MCs, where does 50 Cent place?
Okay, so let me ask you something, Mike. Westside or Paris this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who has a better catalog, Westside Gunn or 50?
I mean, that's to me 50 Cent. I ain't gonna front.
50 has a better catalog than Westside?
I think so. I
No,
think so.
not song for
And that's
song.
no disrespect to West Side. 50
No,
got a
I'm
lot
not
of
trying to
joints.
disrespect Westside or disrespect 50, but it's like, I mean, you're talking about what his place in hip hop history. He made one classic album. He's not traditionally considered to be a great lyricist. Like, what is his place? Like, before we go off, I kind of wanted to go over the fact that it's like, I know, we reposted earlier this week. I think the Trap House did their top 50 MCs list.
Oh yeah.
So 50 is number 14, but Raekwon is 34 and Rakim is 26.
Well, yeah, that's just a crazy list.
I'm not
Andrew
arguing
Pruitt
with number
says
one.
50's
I'm
top
not-
five regarding overall impact.
No, he's not even top 5 impact wise. Like, no, it's not bigger. His impact hasn't been greater than
You know who 50
Tupac,
is?
Snoop.
You know who he is? Snoop. Yes. Yeah. He's
No,
Snoop.
he's not. No, he's not as great as Snoop.
I don't think
Like,
he's
Get
as
Rich or
great
Die
as Snoop
Trying-
either, but if we're talking about where we play, like, they have a very similar career. I would say that. No, obviously
agree.
Snoop's career is longer and he has the better
Mike.
catalog, obviously.
Mike.
No, what I
Mike.
guess what I'm saying, that first album being such a shattering thing, I think him and Snoop have that, is what I'm saying.
Okay,
And
no.
it wasn't about them being so lyrical, it was about how well they sounded on records.
Mike,
Snoop's
there's not. Oh my God, there's not an album in the history of rap that the average person can recite word for word the way they can recite Doggy Style. So
I
as
agree.
great. So as great as 50 is, and as great as Get Rich or Die Trying is, even when you're trying to compare him to Snoop in that album on that level, no, it's not the same thing. 50 sold 10 million albums in a time where music records were at their zenith. Snoop moved 5 million records when guys weren't going gold.
No, that's
Like,
real.
it's not so when you're saying most impactful ever, it's like, no, he didn't reach those heights. He never influenced the culture as a lyricist the way Nas or Rakim did. He didn't move pop culture the way Snoop or Tupac or Jay did. I mean, Tupac was everywhere. I just gave you 5 guys. So, like, no, he's not top 5. Like,
Well, Andrew
no.
said Snoop's impact on overall culture. He hasn't impacted
made the
culture
Chronic-
overall like 50.
He wrote The Chronic in Doggy Style. This
No,
is
I'm
not
with
a
you on this one.
conversation.
I'm with you on this
He
one.
wrote The Chronic in Doggy Style. Let me say this again for anybody that's putting 50 in Snoop's category. Snoop Dogg wrote The Chronic in Doggy Style. Stop that. Stop all that. like stop that.
I mean, they both
he
have.
wrote he wrote 2 of the 10 best rap albums ever. Like, nobody else has done that. Nobody else has done that. Nobody.
I mean, we got to give Dr. Dre some credit too, but Snoop Dogg.
I said wrote.
Yeah,
Not produced.
No, I
said
agree.
Wrote. Snoop Dogg wrote 2 of the 10 best rap albums ever. Nobody else has ever done that.
I will
Ever.
say this, and I love Snoop. I think he might be the most famous hip hop artist ever, either him or Kanye
Yeah,
West.
him or Ye. Him or
But-
Ye. I'm with you. It might be Ye though, Mike.
I think it is. I think it is Kanye. I think
I think it
Kanye's
is.
taking that over. But yeah,
just don't
as
wanna
far
say
as
it out loud.
like The Chronic and Doggy Style, I think that they're more regarded because of production than writing, but the writing was a big part of it too.
Mike,
So that's
this
why I
is what I'm
mentioned
saying.
Dre.
So no. There's something. Okay, so how about this? I'm gonna make a comparative analysis. Some of our audience may not be able to grasp, but part of what made the Beatles so great was it just the music sounded great, like the melodies. They were all great musicians and things of that nature. But it was the simplistic, yet artistic nature in which the songs were delivered that made them timeless and classic. Snoop Dogg on The Chronic and on Doggy Style is the closest thing that we have really to the Beatles.
Whoa.
It is.
Okay.
It's that because when you go listen to the Beatles, Mike, it's not that complex what they're saying. They're not saying some deep shit that you can't understand like Wu-Tang or like Nas or like Rakim. You can understand exactly what they're saying, but it's put together so beautifully and it's so catchy
Yeah.
that it's brilliant. And that's what the Chronic and Doggy Style is. It's like, no, it's not no tour de force of lyricism, but if you want to, I mean, Mike, go name me an artist that like wrote like 30 songs that good to start off their career. Like, no.
I give you that. I give you that. Yeah. I mean, I don't think 50's in Snoop's range in that way. I'm just saying that the similarities between the two is the fact that they came with a real home run of a debut album. It's very
Yeah.
tough to follow up. And see, Illmatic was a little bit different because it was a cult classic. These were commercial and cult classics. And it affected their
Those aren't.
careers moving forward. And see, with 50, I don't feel like 50 really on a skill level dropped off. He kept doing the same thing, but nothing really matched up to that first album. So when you talk about 50's catalog and when T.I. was talking about going song for song with him, 50 might hit you with some sleepers, be like, yo, I forgot about that joint. Let's not act like all 50 had was Get Rich or Die Trying. Like, 50 got joints.
It's about half of it, Mike.
Nah.
Yeah, it is.
He got a lot of stuff that was slept on, man.
Mike, how about this? Mike, let's be honest. If we did a versus for 50, I'd say about 7 to 9 songs are coming off of Get Rich or Die Trying. Correct me if I'm wrong.
7 to 9. He might pull out a good 6, 7, maybe. Maybe.
So, Mike.
I mean, how many did Snoop pull off a Doggy Style, though? You got to. If you got that edge, you got to. I would, too.
But it's not as great. And like I said, it's like if no. I mean, I get what you're saying. I don't want to discredit 50 like that, but it's like Snoop's enough. Like, Mike, the only thing that I could really compare Doggy Style to is Paid in Full in the sense of it's that hip-hop classic that the MC sounds great on it, and there's a bunch of bangers on there.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Illmatic's not like that. Like, people act like Ready to Die is full of bangers. It's not. Illmatic, not full of bangers. Like, Reasonable Doubt, not full of bangers. Cuban Links, not full of bangers. Paid in Full, Doggy Style, it's like, it's great and it's full of bangers. Like, the stuff that people are dancing. Like Mike, in 87, 88, when Rakim's dropping this stuff, like, people were dancing to that. It wasn't that just he was a supreme lyricist. Those were catchy records people were singing along to. Like, people danced at the block jams to I Ain't No Joke.
Yeah. And, I always say that I think that Cannabis should have went the Paid in Full route, but that's just, that's a whole nother subject.
He's not capable of that.
Paid in Full has, I would say, maybe 4 possible top 50 hip hop songs of all time on it. I think the only other album I could say that about might be
Doggy Style.
Well, I was gonna say The Great Adventures too. You got
possibly, yeah.
Yeah, you got A Children's Story. You got Mona Lisa. You got Hey Young World, and we got Teenage Love, I think. But I think Teenage Love would be the stretch, but 3 definitely.
Yeah, I was about to say Teenage Love hasn't held up as well over the course of time. I would give that a definite 3, and that's why I would compare Paid in Full to Doggy Style, because Doggy Style has What's My Name, Gin and Juice, Doggy Dog World, Lottie Dottie. That's what I'm saying, Mike. It has more than 4, actually. Yeah. Murder Was the Case.
Lottie Dottie, we got to get at the Slick, but
that's fine. We can, even if we give that to Slick, I just named 6. That's what I'm saying. Those, like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Like Gin and Juice, Doggy Dog World, Murder Was the Case. What's My Name? Those are four of the
I
50
mean,
greatest
I
rap
think
records ever. And Mike,
the other record I was gonna say is "It Ain't No Fun." I would have put that over, one of the other.
Mike, I was about to say the best record on Doggy Style to me is actually the Shiznit.
I think I was gonna say that too.
The
Yo,
Shiznit
before we
is the
get up
best
out of
song on
here,
Doggy Style, Mike. It's probably the least quotable song, and it's probably the best record. Everything else is sing along shit.
they
That's
got
the one
down
he
with
dug
that.
in on. He's on his rap shit on the Shiznit.
Yeah, they got down with that album, man.
Yeah, they got
Speaking of
down.
which, T.I.
Beautiful,
celebrating his
beautiful.
40th birthday today. Happy birthday to T.I. Will Smith too, by the way, and Childish
Libra
Gambino.
Gang.
Now let me ask you, what is your favorite T.I. project? Mine is Down with the King, but and
Ooh, I knew you were gonna say that. I
it's
thought about that for a second.
but as far as album, I'm gonna say trap music, but
I'm gonna say trap music.
I'm just doing
But
my
I
job.
love
Might be
what
my
you
favorite Ti song too.
Huh?
I'm just
What
doing
might be
my
your favorite?
job. Might be my favorite Ti song.
No. What you know is still my favorite Ti song. It's one
I
of
ain't
the
mad
best
at
rap
that.
songs ever made. It's one of the best rap songs ever made. Like I
Wow,
love that record.
it's his
It's
best
one of the
single.
best rap songs ever. Yeah. I love King. How about this? If you're not from Atlanta and you prefer King or Paper Trail, I understand why, Mike. But if you're from Atlanta, it's trap music.
Rank Ti's top 5 albums. I mean, Andrew got I'm Serious here. I never really liked I'm Serious. I remember when I'm Serious dropped, I wasn't
It's
even that big.
uneven. No, I like I'm Serious, Mike. It's just uneven. He hadn't found his groove yet.
He's a whole different rapper on there. It's like Can I Borrow a Dollar from Common. Like for me, trap music
That's
is
fair.
his first album because that's the Ti that we know.
So top 5 albums, I go trap music,
Okay, I'm agreeing with that.
King,
King number 2. I agree with that too. Here's where it gets tricky, I'm sure.
Paper Trail.
I'm going Urban Legend 3.
No. I'm going Paper Trail because I feel like he's a better songwriter. Actually, you want to know what, Mike? No, you're right. Urban Legend's better than Paper Trail. You know what? ASAP just played in my mind right quick and never like that guy could rap his ass off.
Yeah,
Mike.
man. He
He
could.
rapped his ass off. And also low key, Mike, one of my favorite T.I. records, low key though, is on Urban Legend, and that's the Pharrell track, Freak though. That's one of T.I.'s best songs.
One of my favorites is on there too, and it's the song with Daz. That is one of
The
my
song with
favorites.
Daz is
That
dope,
shit is
too.
crazy.
No,
A-Town
Mike, you're
veteran.
right.
Started at 11, went and bought an 8-ball. I've been staying down ever since. That's why it's hard to find a young rap nigga better than the Bankhead resident. West Side represent. Pimp Squad Monster. Grand Hustle president. Heart of a lion and the nuts of an elephant. He was rapping out his ass on that.
He's rapping his
During
ass
that
off on
period.
Urban Legend, Mike. You want to know what? How about this? That's one of those things. If you prefer the songwriting, it's Paper Trail. If you prefer the MC, it's Urban Legend.
Right.
I always lean towards the MC. Usually, I'm going to say Urban Legend would be third after King. Then Paper Trail. I may surprise you with my fifth. I love the Nick, Mike. All 5 songs on the Nick, I'm a fan of. I love the Nick. Peanut Butter Jelly, like Peanut Butter and Jelly, like that's my ride around 25 songs where it's like, you want to know what? Since I'm here.
Okay, well, all right. So that's your 5. My 5, man. I don't know. I might have to put I'm Serious at 5, but I got trap music. I got King. I got Urban Legend. Then I would go Paper Trail. Then it gets kind of murky for me, honestly. I need to go back and figure out that fit.
The Nick got Project Steps. It got Check Run It, Peanut Butter and Jelly.
Dime Trap was actually pretty good too. Dime Trap was good.
Solid.
People slept on Dime Trap.
I feel like there was one other project that he made that I feel like was solid, but I mean I don't know if it's top 5 material, but yeah.
All right, man. Well, shoot, we need to go ahead and get up out of here, man. We had great chopping it up, and I think 2 Chainz might be coming next week. People thought he was coming this week, but that might be next week. You never know what's gonna happen. I'm sure that probably gonna get a Megan response. Probably gonna get a Rick Ross shot at Tory. Who knows? Music is all over the place, and people are putting music out. Period, man. Appreciate that, Andrew. Good conversation with y'all too, and y'all check in with us next week, 8 o'clock.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew.
And yeah, man, we're We're gonna talk about more of it, man. Kanye's been on a rampage too, so yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about more music. I can't wait till we do our year-end wrap-up, man. I think we're gonna have some interesting stuff
I'm
to talk about.
excited. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All
Mike,
right, man.
Mike,
Yes.
Mike, Messy level. OJ. All right, Messy level OJ. OJ's the top.
Yeah.
Then you like get into like then you get like Whitney Bobby. Then it's like Mariah. Don't start creeping up like through Mariah like Whitney Bobby territory with this shit. All right,
Yeah,
I'm
man.
gone.
I hope Tory Lanez, keeps it classy. All right. I guess it's too late
Messy.
for that.
It's messy as fuck.
All right.
Yeah.